What's going on, Hornets fans? This is Hornets Culture back at it again with another video. And today we are going to be doing a recap on 2024 and talking about everything that happened to the Charlotte Hornets starting January 1st to December 31st. Let's get into it. Coming into 2024, the Hornets were not looking good. They were on a 11-game losing streak and had one of the worst records in the NBA with a 7-24 record. This is when the trade rumors of Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier really started to become popular around the league. The Phoenix Suns showed interest in Miles Bridges and Nick Richards, but no official deal ever happened. At the end of January, the Hornets ended up trading Terry Rozier, who had been a huge part of their organization for years, for Kyle Lowry and the Heat's 2027 lottery protected pick. A lot of Hornets fans didn't end up liking this deal because Kyle Lowry was bought out and never ended up playing a game as a Charlotte Hornet. So basically, they traded Terry Rozier for that 2027 first rounder. Terry Rozier ended up throwing a bunch of shade at the Hornets once he got to Miami.
Charlotte, you kind of used to losing. It's kind of your DNA.
At the start of February, firing head coach Steve Clifford started to look more and more like a possibility. With the trade deadline right around the corner, there was more and more rumors about players in the Hornets organization. And boy, were the Hornets super active and went crazy at the deadline. The Hornets ended up finally getting rid of Gordon Hayward, and they sent him to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Vasa Micic, Trey Mann, and Davis Bertans. The Hornets shipped off PJ Washington, who had been a Hornet his whole career, to Dallas for Seth Curry, Grant Williams, and a first-round pick. The Hornets cut James Bouknight, Ish Smith, and Frank Ntilikina to make room for the guys they required from trades. The time period from the end of the trade deadline to All-Star Weekend was truly a special time to be a Hornets fan. Hornets president of basketball operations Mitch Kupchak stepped down from the organization. The domestic violence charges on Miles Bridges were dropped due to lack of information and evidence. And this team was playing amazing. Trey Mann, Grant Williams, and Seth Curry looked like they fit right in, and this Hornets team went 3-0. No Hornets players were named All-Stars, but Brandon Miller participated in the Rising Stars competition. But he didn't score at all, and the game winner was hit on him.
Baseline on Brandon. Turnaround fadeaway, good. Matas Bazelis, the game winner.
After All-Star Weekend, the Hornets signed center Marquise Bolden to a 10-day contract. LaMelo Ball dropped a new shoe towards the end of the month, and Grant Williams got in a fight in the Warriors game.
Miles Bridges did not like the fact that Quinones went to score that one. The reason he shot that is there's a difference between the game and the shot clock. Look at this. They're all out there. Coach Kerr's.
To start off the month of March, the Hornets signed Pokusevski from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Brandon Miller balled out, but the losing streaks continued. We really struggled in the month of March, but at least Micic put Kevin Durant on a highlight.
Micic!
LaMelo Ball announced that he would miss the rest of the season with an injury. Russell Westbrook tried to get into it with a Hornets fan, and we were eliminated from the playoffs for the 8th year in a row. In April, it was announced that Steve Clifford would be stepping down once the season was over from head coach. The losing continued, and JT Thor became one of the worst players to ever put on a Hornets jersey. The Hornets finished with a final record of 21 wins and 61 losses during the 2023-2024 season, but rookie Brandon Miller looked like he was the future of the franchise. Brandon Miller played in 74 games during his rookie season, which was the most games by a Hornet compared to any other player on the roster. He also averaged 17 points per game and 4 rebounds per game. The Hornets interviewed JJ Redick to be the potential next coach of the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, JJ Redick has interviewed for the Charlotte Hornets head coaching job, I'm told. He could have another interview soon as well. He's a serious candidate, as well as Charles Lee, the Celtics assistant coach.
And LaMelo Ball broke the internet with his crazy new back tattoo. Going into the month of May, after many serious job interviews for the next head coach of the franchise, the Hornets announced that they would be hiring Charles Lee from the Boston Celtics. The Hornets fired all their assistant coaches and brought in some new big names like Josh Longstaff and Lamar Skeeter. The Hornets ended up getting screwed over in the draft lottery. After projected to maybe have the first overall pick, they fell all the way down to 6. I was so confident that we were going to get a top 3, maybe even top 5 pick, so I was shocked when it fell all the way down to 6, and the Atlanta Hawks got the first overall pick. And Hornets fans were not happy with the 6th overall pick. After a season like that, it was very disappointing to get that bad of a pick. While a bunch of NBA teams played in the playoffs, the month of May and June for the Charlotte Hornets were full of mock trades, trade rumors, and jersey swaps. At the end of the month in June, it was time for the NBA draft. The Hornets ended up drafting Tijon Salon with the 6th overall pick and KJ Simpson with their 2nd round pick. On draft night, I was hoping for Montez Bucelis or Dalton Connect, so I was very disappointed when we drafted Tijon Salon.
Please, Montez or Dalton, please. No! Why? What are we doing? No way!
The Hornets ended up receiving Reggie Jackson on draft night, but he would end up being bought out. JT Thor's contract ended up getting declined by the team, and he ended up becoming an unrestricted free agent. The month of July was started off with a huge trade. Josh Green ended up getting sent to Charlotte, a part of that 3-team blockbuster Klay Thompson trade. There was tons of rumors all month long about Miles Bridges potentially being traded, but the Hornets re-signed him to a 3-year, $75 million deal. Bryce McGowens, Pokusevski, and Davis Bertans would all be cut right before the California Classic started. The Hornets dominated the California Classic, going 3-0. Free agent Taj Gibson agreed to a 1-year, $3 million deal. The Hornets ended up doing amazing in Summer League, only losing one time the entire summer. At the end of July, the Hornets waived Reggie Jackson and signed Moussa Diabate. On the first day of August, the Hornets cut Leaky Black, who was on a 2-way deal. Hornets legend Jeremy Lamb announced his retirement. And the Hornets ended up signing Keontae Johnson, and former Hornet Pokusevski went back to Europe. September started off with LeVar Ball saying that the Hornets should trade LaMelo Ball to the Clippers.
Come on, trade Melo over there to the Clippers.
And Miles Bridges announced that he was quitting rapping. The Hornets ended up getting involved in the Karl Anthony Towns trade and got a lot of draft composition and Daquan Jeffries from the Knicks. September ended off with a bunch of former Hornets players in new locations and media day as well. We got these funny memes, and Mark Williams said there is no reason the Hornets can't be a playoff team and be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. During October's training camp, Grant Williams, Nick Smith Jr., and Cody Martin all got hurt in the first week. The Hornets went 1-5 in preseason, and there started to become a lot of doubts and concerns going into the 2024-2025 season. Talks about Trey Mann possibly winning Sixth Man of the Year became popular in preseason when he averaged 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. The Charlotte Hornets started off their regular season in Houston. They were down 18 points at one point in this game and fought all the way back to get a huge win to be 1-0 to start off the season. At the end of October, the Hornets exercised the rookie scale contract options on Brandon Miller, Mark Williams, and Nick Smith Jr. The month of November was full of ups and downs. Brandon Miller hit his first career ever buzzer beater against the Detroit Pistons at home. Through the first 10 games of the season, the Hornets were 8th in the Eastern Conference with a 4-6 record. LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller became the youngest duo in NBA history to each record 25-plus points, 5-plus rebounds, 5-plus assists, and 5-plus three-pointers attempted in a game. But then the injury bug hit the Charlotte Hornets. Miles Bridges and Nick Richards got hurt. With Nick Richards out, Moussa Diabate started to shine. There was one 4-game stretch when he was averaging 13.8 rebounds per game. LaMelo Ball dropped a career-high 50 points with 5 rebounds and 10 assists towards the end of the month and started putting up MVP-type numbers. But the last couple days of November were really hard to be a Hornets fan. Grant Williams suffered a season-ending torn ACL injury versus the Milwaukee Bucks. And just a day after that, it was announced that Trey Mann and LaMelo Ball would miss the next 2 weeks with injuries. After the Hornets lost 2 of their best scorers and already were struggling record-wise, it seemed like any chance of play-in or playoffs was out of the window. December rolled around and rumors of Lonzo Ball coming to Charlotte started to become more popular. LeVar Ball was seen in Charlotte multiple times, and he doesn't really go to games, so fans thought something was up.
Don't worry about it. Help is coming. Help is coming.
The Hornets signed Isaiah Wong to a 2-way deal, and they lost a couple close games. And Mark Williams played for the first time in a year after struggling with multiple injuries. Going into 2025, the Hornets are 7-24 and are the 13th seed in the Eastern Conference. And yet again, a new year rolls around and it feels like the Hornets season is already over. We are one of the worst teams in the NBA and have no offensive direction without LaMelo Ball on the court. As guys continue to struggle with injuries, it seems like it's going to be another year with us trying to get the number 1 overall pick in the lottery. I feel like we are 1 pick away. I feel like we are 1 draft pick away or 1 trade away from being really good. You can't blame the situation we are in on Charles Lee or the new front office either. There's not one person to blame for this. Just look at how much the team has changed in the last couple of months. It has literally been the worst case scenario for like 3 years in a row. No other fan base has it worse than us. Sometimes it is so hard to be a fan of this team. Going into 2025, I'm just hoping for the best. I'm hoping that we get that number 1 overall pick. Or I'm hoping that a superstar/star sees Charlotte and they're like, wow, I could be that building piece to get this team over the top. And they come to Charlotte and help take us there. But I don't know who that star could be. If you guys have any idea or any thought about who you would want that star to be, please comment down below. It was a crazy year to be a fan of the Charlotte Hornets in 2024, a year full of ups and downs. hoping but nothing but the best in 2025. Hopefully Charles Lee and the coaching staff can get some pieces around LaMelo to make this team great. My name is Hornets Culture. You can find me here on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram as well. Again, Happy New Year. Culture is out.